Hey folks, good morning. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me loud and clear. And after that, we'll start tape reading. Thank you guys for letting me know. So I'm watching US30 here. Okay, so it's been a long time I'm doing stream, right? Like 2-3 months. So yeah, nice to see you all here. We'll start from weekly chart here on US30. Yesterday when I did my bias session, I told you guys that we have an implied fair value gap here. Then we have a daily breaker block here, which are bullish PD arrays. So I'm looking to buy, not today. I'm only gonna be tape reading today as we have two high impact news. I'm mainly AM session trader. I trade from like 8 to 10. That's it. But today we have a high impact news at 10 o'clock. Then Powell is also speaking. So I'm not gonna be trading. I'm gonna be tape reading with you all. I'm gonna watch what price is doing or not. Okay. So we have a breaker here from the daily chart. If you missed my bias session, I talked about this breaker there. Here it is. So as long as price is not going below these down close candles, I'm still remaining bullish. Sorry, these up close candles, I'm still remaining bullish. So nothing really we have to watch here. I'm gonna take you guys to 5-minute chart where I think a pretty good price action is forming to tape read. So this blue line is our implied fair value gap from the weekly chart. Price came down, right? What do you guys see here? Here's the order block, right? Bearish order block. Price came and hit the order block, then went down. But here's something else. Price generated buy side liquidity as a form of relative equal highs. That's strong, okay guys? That pulls price like a magnet. My sound is too low. It's okay, let me check. I think the sound is good now. If not, please let me know, okay? What's up, Don? How are you, bro? So what I'm watching, what I want to see is that these up close candles work as a breaker to send price up here. I'm on 5-minute chart. We have a relative equal high here. Then why here? Okay, what's the logic behind it? Yesterday I talked about a consolidation phase, okay? And today we have this opening range gap, our new week opening gap right here, and price was using it as a support and resistance. Like here, price got support, went up, cleared the buy side liquidity from here, then came down, right? If I take you guys onto the 1-minute chart, you will see like this fair value gap is pretty aggressive. Price delivered aggressively towards sell side liquidity. There's basically no price action here, and it's aligned with the new week opening gap, right? So even if I'm wrong, I still want to see price coming up here. Price can still go down, okay? I don't care about that, but I want to see price clearing out these relative equal highs and then hitting this CB from the 5-minute chart. Sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. Oh, sound is still too low, really? Okay, let me check, just hold on guys. I think sound is good, right? Just turn the volume up. What I can hear from my phone, I think is good, pretty good. So I'm gonna continue. We have a BC here. Do you guys see it? A small BC. I'll talk a little bit about Nasdaq. I think Nasdaq will still push lower before going higher. So we have a BC right here, right? So what did I told you guys? Relative equal highs. When price generates relative equal highs like this, it works as a magnet. Today is a day that I'm gonna avoid trading. Otherwise, we are inside a macro 922 940, and that's when I tell you guys to look for a breaker setup. Do you guys see it here? Yes, every single day there's a breaker setup inside here. A breaker, an inversion, or a turtle soup. 3 setup that forms inside the macro periods, and today is here. Look at that. I'm not gonna take this trade, but I'm just gonna be watching. I'll highly suggest you all not to take any trades before the high impact news. We not only have 1 but 2 plus Paul will. Okay, so try to avoid whatever you are thinking of doing. So let's drop down to 1-minute chart. We have our 5-minute BC here. So I'll consider this as a breaker. Lower low, new lower low, up close candle, right? So this whole up close candle, I'll consider it is a breaker, but the precision will be here. Okay, look at that. Price closed the candle's body above here. We have a fair value gap here, right? Do you guys see it? If it was a day without high impact news at 10 o'clock, I would have taken this trade right here. As soon as price hits this fair value gap, I would be there, like in this trade. We have enough relative equal highs for price to push higher. Everyone who is thinking price will go lower at 9:30 open, I think price will just, you know, hunt their stop loss, which will be right above here. Retail stop loss, relative equal highs. That means what? Double top, triple top. That's where retails put their stop loss, and that's where price goes, like to go. So it's here, right? If price is going above here, we have a breaker here, right? Do you guys remember that I showed you from the 5-minute chart? So our 5-minute breaker is here, up close candle, lower low, new lower low. So these up close candles becomes our breaker. 1-minute chart, we have another breaker here, plus a fair value gap. Look at that, how clean it is. But today is not a day to push ourselves, right? We know that from our mentor. Today is a day just to tape read. So suppose I took entry here. This is just for the sake of tape reading. And where will I put my stop loss? Below this fair value gap. What will I target? 2R. Very easy. Look at that. Every single day, guys, a setup forms like this, okay? Here, don't push the button here. Please don't. Try to control yourself. Don't be impulsive, okay? So that's what I'm looking here. I want to see price going up, clearing out the buy side liquidity here, here. And if price still want to push higher, we have relative equal highs here, but that's also a lot of order blocks. Let's see what price does, okay? Look at that. Look at that, right? Isn't it beautiful? Simple logic works like charm. Did I use anything else other than breaker here? No, right? Breaker, a fair value gap. That means what? A plus setup. So we have our BCL. Let me mark for the people who are new here. Look at that. 2R. From now I target for like 3R in these trades. Like 9:30, at 9:30 price becomes so volatile. If I'm right, okay, if I'm right with the price, then 3R is just like normal. Look at the delivery. When the time will be like 9:28, price will deliver more aggressively. 9:28, 9:29, 9:30, 3 minutes, and I'm done for the day. That's how it works, folks. Only one macro, that's what I trade. Now I'll take you guys on Nasdaq. We'll just let this trade go, and suppose I was taking this trade, I'll minimize my stop loss now. Where will I put it? I'll put it below this BC right here. Okay, if price is coming down and going below this BC, I'm wrong. I don't care. So for the sake of take reading, I'm gonna put my stop loss here, and the TP is 3R as it was before. Nasdaq looking pretty good. So I shared this call on Telegram today morning. What I want to see right now, price coming down, clearing out these relative equal lows, hitting the BC from the 4-hour chart. Look at that. We have a BC right here, hitting this BC from the 4-hour chart, hitting the breaker here. Do you guys see the breaker? Yes, lower low, new lower low, last up close candles here, working as a breaker. So relative equal lows. Why am I so confident calling this trade? Okay, why am I so confident? Because we have relative equal lows here. Clean levels, folks, works as a magnet for price. Always remember that. It's not about bias, it's about liquidity. What price is showing me. Look at that. Price has relative equal highs here, relative equal lows here. So where comparatively, where price is near, it's near to these relative equal lows. So I want to see price clearing out this relative equal low. Below it, do we have any bullish PD array? Yes, we have this BC from the 4-hour chart, which is unfilled. Unfilled fair value gaps are magnet, folks. Then another bullish PD array. What is it? Breaker. So we have a couple of things here. So me personally, I want to see something like this at 9:30 or at 10 o'clock news. I'll be here with you all until like 11. So something like this would be like, would interest me, like this. Why I want to see a retracement here? Because of this new week opening gap. Okay, if price want to reject, it will reject from this new week opening gap. Okay, so I want to see price not rejecting lower, like way lower, but a small swing like this from this new week opening gap, and then pushing higher on Nasdaq. So that's pretty much it on Nasdaq. I'm not gonna drop down to the lower time frame on Nasdaq as I'm not trading, but I'll just put a alert here. If price drops down here, I'll come back and tape read it. If price comes inside this fair value gap, I'll come back and do my commentary as usual. So let's see what price is doing. See, it came back to this fair value gap. Our stop loss is near this fair value gap, right, on the tape reading side. So see what price did here. Price went up, cleared out this buy side liquidity from here. That's why I told you guys not to push the button. You never know what's gonna happen inside when we have a high impact news. Look at the retracement here. Usually when we have no news, price don't do that. Price will just come back to the BC and then it will go higher. But here what happened? It's just pushing lower, generating more buy side liquidity. So we'll have to wait. I believe at 10 o'clock we'll push higher as we have more buy side liquidity left to take out. Look at that. Relative equal highs again. Let's see what price does. So there are certain days when you should be avoiding trading. Today is one of those days. Look at that. This retracement was way deeper. Anyone here on trading other than turtle soup, like the people who entered here, I think are not gonna be profitable. Anyone from here. And price is also closing its candles body above the 5-minute fair value gap. Look at that. We have a 5-minute fair value gap, right? So this retracement towards sell side liquidity was a stop hunt. Retail stop, our stop. It all got smashed. And price is still respecting what the analysis that I shared with you all, right? So that's what I usually expect when we have high impact news incoming at 10 o'clock. I mostly avoid trading 920 to 940 macro if we have a high impact news like what we have today, ISM, or suppose we have like PMI, PPI at 10 o'clock. I just avoid trading at 930. What I do if we have PPI and PMI, I look at 950 to 1010 macro. PPI and PMI is tradable, folks. Other than that, I mostly avoid it. So look at the candle's body. It's staying above this 5-minute fair value gap, right? So what I would like to see, price coming up, clearing this buy side liquidity here that it generated now, relative equal highs. We have another swing high here. So these short-term highs, I want to see this getting taken out. Why did you took this trade? Wolf FX FPP. Why did you took it? I told you not to took it. Before high impact news, guys, please try to avoid trading, okay? It's not like about the confirmation, it's about how good you are able to control your emotions. It doesn't mean that you see a setup so you should be trading. It means that we have a high impact news, so you should be controlling your emotions, just like me. I'm just tape reading. Look at that. In this price action, I don't want to trade. When I trade, when price delivers one-sided, don't do the things like this. It's a seek and destroy delivery, okay? At 9:30. At 9:30, I expect to see price moving higher, okay? And then it can do whatever it wants, or like delivering one-sided first and then the distribution, okay? So but here, what did you saw? Price went up, went lower, went up, went lower. So is it a good place for you to trade? Not really, right? So on Nasdaq, price is moving towards this buy side liquidity. We have another relative equal high here. That's what I missed. So let's see what price does. We have new week opening gap, two levels from where price can get resistance, right? We have a CB, we have a breaker here. Do you guys see it? Higher high, then new higher high. Last down close candles means what? Breaker. So a couple of things here, right? Fair value gap, then a new week opening gap, then breaker. I will not try to like force anything here, rather I'll just like to watch. It's 9:34. I'll still wait until the 10 o'clock news comes in. The golden boy saying best decision that I follow you from the start. So much change in my trading journey. Thank you, boy. New trading range is established. High and low of Friday is taken now. Yeah, that means what? Seek and destroy. Look at Dow. What Dow is doing. This 9:30 delivery. So what price did here? Did you guys saw how price cleared out relative equal highs, right? Before the 9:30 open, I told you guys that I want to see price delivering towards the buy side liquidity. Wasn't my calling in one direction? Yeah. Then we saw a breaker here. I told you guys it doesn't matter how clean of a setup it is, you should not be pushing the button. I was right in my calling, but the manipulation happened a lot lower, right? Look at that. We have relative equal lows here. Price went up. We have our 5-minute fair value gap here. Look at the retracement. I don't like to trade when price like does things like this. Price wasn't closing a candle's body below this 5-minute fair value gap. What does it mean? Okay, when price doesn't close a candle's body below a 5-minute fair value gap or a fair value gap, it means that price is respecting this fair value gap, right? So I'll show you guys a template which will make it a lot more easier about what I'm talking, like measuring the fair value gaps and stuff. So here's a template that I shared with you all yesterday on Telegram. That's how you know like when price will respect a fair value gap, when you should be avoiding a fair value gap, okay? So when we see a fair value gap like this, you should be measuring the fair value gap using the gun box. I'll show you guys. Then if price is closing a candle's body above the midway and the upper quadrant, that means what? We are heavily bullish. If price is closing a candle's body below the lower quadrant and lower, that means what? We are heavily bearish. It's a simple stuff, folks. If you know when to look for it, it's pretty easy. So we have our 5-minute fair value gap, right? So if I measure it, what do you guys see? Did price close the candle's body here below the upper quadrant and the midway? No, it didn't even like come close. That means what? It's heavily bullish, right? So that's how you learn. Price came down, hit the breaker from the daily chart. What I showed you all yesterday. If you saw my bias session yesterday, if you were there, I told you guys that I want to see a retracement lower inside this implied fair value gap, didn't I? So I told you guys that, and today it happened. Price came down at 9:30 open, hit the breaker perfectly. What breaker? Look at that. To a lot of you, it's not clear on daily chart, right? But look carefully. Lower low, new lower low, last stop close candles. What is it? It's working as a breaker here, bullish breaker. Then we have an implied fair value gap. What is the implied fair value gap? When price, let me show it to you all. We have a candle here, right next to it we have another, then another, and both of these candles are crossing their wicks. When price does that, you should be measuring the consequent encroachment of this wick, then this wick, and the consequent encroachment is the implied fair value gap. That means what? It's a bullish PD area. I'm not bearish. Okay, so let's see. Let's drop down to our 1-minute chart and let's see what price is doing. So price generated more buy side liquidity, right? And it's retracing from these order blocks. I told you guys that I'll be watching these order blocks because it's a lot of order blocks right here. So I think price is just going for the discount level. We have relative equal lows right here, near to this 5-minute fair value gap, right? Nasdaq is pushing really aggressively. So what I showed you on Nasdaq, if price is clearing out that equal high first, I would like to see price going lower after that. Okay, I'll show you. Nasdaq seems way clear than Dow Jones. Do you guys see it? It's aggressively pushing higher. So if this breaker is not sending price lower, and if price is clearing out these relative equal highs first, okay, at 10 o'clock I would like to see a little bit more volatility. I would like to see price hitting this CB from the weekly chart, which is unfilled. So I'm gonna take you guys on the weekly chart. Let me hide the drawings. Do you guys see it? This unfilled fair value gap, and what price is doing now? It's pushing higher aggressively. That means what? It's going for the buy side liquidity, relative equal highs, and stuff like that. And if I take you guys again on 1-hour chart, do you guys see this? Here's a relative equal high. 1, 2, 3, right? And what's the logic behind price moving lower from here? The logic is we have a fair value gap from the weekly chart here. Then we have a clean level right here. Look at this. These lows are really clean. So what I wanted to see at first, I wanted to see price doing something like this, coming down, right? And then doing something like this. But now that price is doing the opposite thing, I would like to see price going up at 10 o'clock, hitting this CB, and then at like when the Powell speaks, I want to see price moving lower, something like this. Okay, so, but I still want to see how price reacts inside this breaker. We are getting inside our next macro, 950 to 1010. Did you guys saw on Dow Jones how price delivered inside the 920 to 940 macro? Yes, when price is near to the macro or inside macro, it delivers with volatility. That's why if you are trading inside a macro period, it's good for you. You can be done trading in like a couple of minutes. If you are a scalper like me, here you would have had a 3-hour trade if price didn't did that, right? Look at that manipulation here. Yup, price is also respecting, but I'll only see this 5-minute fair value gap. Okay, if price is going below this 5-minute fair value gap and closing a candle's body, I believe we will go lower, right? But as long as price is not doing that and making big wicks, I'm still bullish. I want to see this high getting taken out, and it matches with my narrative on Nasdaq. I want to see Nasdaq pushing higher, so it makes sense for me if Dow is also pushing higher. But let's see what happens. Right, folks? Can you please tell chart color setting? My chart color. Okay, I'll show you. I'll show it for once. What's the color? This is the color. This is the color code hashtag B76E00. You can take a screenshot, and everything else is black, and the background is, I believe, a cream white, right? And so this is the color code hashtag F2EBEB. I would like, you can take a screenshot. So yeah, that's it. Bro, why don't you charting on NAS 100 YNQ CME? CME is the main chart, okay? Not US 100. On CME charts, you see the real price. There's no manipulation. No one can do anything. This is what happening everywhere in the world. So that's the chart I would like. I will say suggest you to watch. So price cleared out these relative equal highs that I mentioned before, and it's just chopping around here. See, anyone, would you be profitable here? Right, tell me. Or would you be like avoiding this trade and be peaceful? I'll choose the peaceful side rather than forcing a trade idea here, then getting stopped out. I'll just like to watch. There will be many more opportunities in coming days, folks. Every single day there's a macro. Every single day price delivers with volatility. Every single day there's a setup. What kinds of setup? 3 types of setup: turtle soup, breaker, inversion. So yeah, price generated more relative equal lows. So what I believe is that price will come down here and it will clear this level out before pushing higher. So I want to see this level getting taken out. So from where price can reject, right? We have this order block, last stop close candle before this move towards sell side liquidity. So let's see if price respect it or not. We have a volume imbalance right here. So a couple of things, let's watch. Yes, taking previous day low with stop hunt breaker block from 856 to 858 and fair value gap at 921, head stop at 920 low. That's a lot of stuff you're saying, Rocket. So ES took Friday's low, and ES has an unfilled fair value gap. If you guys look at 43.30, yeah, this unfilled fair value gap with relative equal highs, I believe ES will push higher. So yeah, I think Nasdaq and Dow, everything will push higher, but let's see what happens. Okay, I'm not trying to force anything here, rather taper it and see what happens. So as you guys saw, price generated the relative equal lows here, then price came down, cleared this relative equal low. We have a big week here. So let's see if price wanna respect the consequent encroachment of this week. So whenever you guys see a big wick like this, try to measure it. So when you do the measurement, what it will do, it will give you levels in price like this. Like 33,631 is a level that I wanna see from where price pushing higher. Look at that, how price is reacting from the consequent encroachment of this week. where did this candle stopped? At the consequent encroachment, right? So if you see big wicks like this, okay, it can be on 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute chart. Just try to measure it and see what price is doing here. Suppose this is a 1 hour time frame, okay, and we have a wick like this. What I would do, I would mark the consequent encroachment like this. Then I will drop down to the lower time frame and see what's there, what's inside this consequent encroachment and the lower quadrant, right? If there's any bullish PD area, I would like to take a trade from there. So price did another stop hunt below our 930 low. Let's see what happens. Price hit our daily breaker again. So what I'm gonna do now that price is pushing lower, we still have 10 minutes before the high impact news, 10-14 minutes. I'm gonna go to the daily chart, and I don't know if price will push lower. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna measure this breaker block, and I'm only gonna mark the consequent encroachment or the mean threshold of this breaker. That's why price is sensitive, okay folks? So even if price is coming lower, we have an old low right here, okay? So if price is coming lower and not respecting the mean threshold of this breaker block, then I believe we are bearish and we will go lower. But we will see on 1 minute chart. 1 minute tells a lot of story. Price is still respecting this breaker from the daily chart, right? So here at this candle, look at that, how price used this 5 minute fair value gap as an inversion, right? What happens on 1 minute chart, the same thing happens on higher time frame, folks. So don't avoid it like, okay, it's on 1 minute, it's so small, I won't be profitable here. But the same price action will repeat on hourly chart. When it repeats like this whole move towards sell side liquidity can be like hundreds of handles, hundreds of ticks on 1 minute chart, okay? Hundreds of points. You can be a hugely profitable if you can expect to see something like this on higher time frame. What is it? We had our 5 minute fair value gap here, right? So this fair value gap, price closed the candle body below the fair value gaps. Then what? This fair value gap turns into an inversion. When price closes a candle's body below a fair value gap, it turns into an inversion, okay? And what do you see here? Price went up inside this inversion, then went lower, used it as a resistance to go lower, okay? Now I will become bullish again if price is closing a candle's body above this inversion. That's how I trade. Very simple logic, nothing like really complex or anything. If price does this, then I would like to see this. If price does not do this, then I would like to see this. There are things that I want to see in chart. It's not like random things that I'm predicting. If price is closing a candle's body above this inversion, again, I would like to see price going higher. If price is not doing that, I would like to see price going lower. That's how it happens. That's how I get my bias as I'm a scalper, okay? I have a long-term bias that I decide from 4-hour daily chart, 1-hour chart, but on 1 minute chart, it's different. If you are a scalper like me, you will have to understand how price delivers liquidity, how it generates liquidity, right? Relative equal highs, relative equal lows. When price generates those, it works as a confirmation. Look at that, price came up, hit this inversion, and then going lower again. That's how you learn, folks, okay? This same price action, I'm saying again, this same price action will repeat on daily chart, weekly chart, hourly, 50-minute chart. So when price does that, you will know that, okay, I can expect to see this kind of price action now. Price is coming back to the inversion. I can expect to see it going lower like this. Okay, it's not just a random level. It's our 5-minute fair value gap that failed to provide support. Now this fair value gap is doing what? It's providing resistance to our sell side liquidity, right? So let's see what we have here. As price is going lower, we have another implied fair value gap, right? That's what I talked on weekly chart. Candle here, 2 candle right next to it, wicks crossing each other. So what I would like to see what price does here. Okay, we have a rejection block below here, so let's see if price uses these implied fair value gap to get support towards buy side liquidity. Let's see that. Now the price is coming lower. I'd like to see what price does inside here. If price is not respecting this implied fair value gap, I believe it will push lower until 10 o'clock news. So this implied fair value gap, no respect of it. I believe price will go lower now. We have another big week. I'm not trying to force anything until the 10 o'clock news. I like to see how price delivers. On ES, we have this fair value gap unfilled coupled with relative equal highs. Let me show it to you all. I'm looking at 1 hour chart on ES, the hourly chart. Here, look at that, relative equal highs here, and this fair value gap is unfilled. So the relative equal high, these are the relative equal highs I'm talking about. Look at that. So for me, I'll not take any trades until this relative equal highs are getting taken out. Let it do what it's doing, okay folks. So we'll see like what happens at 10 o'clock news, and after that if price presents a clean setup or not. We have at 11 we have Powell speaking, so that's also something to keep in mind. Like at 11 we have 2 news. Fed Chair Powell speaks, then FOMC member Harker speaks. The Powell will bring volatility. Harker, I don't think he will do much in terms of moving price, but Powell, I'm expecting to see what he does. I want to see what he does. And on Nasdaq, look at that. This I talked about this breaker, right? I told you guys that if this breaker, if price is respecting this breaker, will go lower, but if not, I would like to see price hunting this relative equal highs here. So suppose you saw this breaker, you drop down to 1 minute chart. We have another breaker here, okay? I always tell you guys my high probability breaker forms inside higher time frame PD arrays. So this hourly breaker is a higher time frame PD array, right? So what do we expect to see on lower time frame? We expect to see another breaker forming inside this breaker on lower time frame. Did it form here? Higher high, new higher high, last down close candles. Yes, it formed here. It respected this breaker beautifully. So that's how you should be journaling. That's how I journal. I'm not trading. It doesn't mean that I'm just gonna avoid whatever price is doing here. I'm gonna be tape reading. I'm gonna be marking what price presented to me, what I would like to see here. So 2R, if you were just targeting 2R with a stop loss above the breaker, see, price gave it to you. Isn't it a clean setup? Like, look at that, higher high, new higher high, and this breaker formed inside where? Our higher time frame PDA 1 hour breaker, right? So for your notes, write it down. A high probability breaker forms inside a higher time frame PD area. Higher time frame PD area can be a volume imbalance, a fair value gap, a order block. It doesn't matter, okay? Once price hits that order block, you should be dropping down to 1 minute chart. You should be looking for a breaker forming inside that hourly PD area. This PD area can be order block, new week opening gap, whatever it is, okay? Hope you guys understood what I'm talking about. Discretionary trading at its finest. Pablo G noob question, why do you like to trade NQ1 and not the NQZ 2023? What's the difference? Thanks. NQ1, so the contract changes after a couple of months. So in NQ1 I don't have to like change anything, it will change automatically. NQZ 2023, after the contract gets done, I will have to move to another new contract. So sometimes I forget to do that. When I forget, the price action is like, when the contract gets to an end, the price action becomes really choppy. So yeah, that's the reason I use NQ1, where it automatically changes contracts for me. ES1, YM1. So we have a fair value gap here. These two lines that you guys see is our hourly fair value gap, right? Aligned with the breaker. So we have a fair value gap here. Let's see what price does. It's also a BPR, right? It's also a BPR. Let's see what price does here. If price is coming down here, I would like to see what it does. We have 3 minutes until the news hits it. We have a fair value gap plus a BPR, balanced price range, right here. What is your risk management strategy for funded accounts for 0.5%? That's the risk management that I use, and the target is 3R. 0.5% risk, targeting 3 times of what I'm risking. So suppose if you have a $50,000 funded account, then I'll be risking $250, which is 0.5%, and I'll be targeting for like $650, $700, like this. So even if I'm losing like 3-4 trades in a row, which is very normal when the losing streak comes, 4 or 5 trades in a row, I will only lose 1 profit. So my mindset will still be good. I'll still be able to continue what I'm doing on my funded accounts. So it always comes down to the risk management, or what you are targeting. Me personally, if I'm trading with a funded account, then 0.5% is the risk. Minimum target is 3R, not 2R. If I'm trading on live funds, 1% risk, target 2R. Another relative equal high here. I believe price will push higher at 10 o'clock news. So look at that. This BPR, price is respecting this nicely. I want to see price pushing higher, folks. Like the relative equal highs here, buy side liquidity, a lot of buy side liquidity here. So let's see what happens. We have 2 minutes. Why the color changed? Oh, I think I split the screen because of that. So look at that. Look at the delivery here. Price is hunting relative equal highs again. That means what? Retail stop loss, right? Dow came down to this BPR. Now it's pushing higher. So this inversion, I want to see price closing a candles body above this inversion. Yes. I have a question. So you can use to enter a 1 hour PD array with lower time frame, but you can't enter on 4 hour PD arrays with lower time frame. What do I mean? What do you mean? No, you can't. Like lower time frame, it changes so much. It does a lot of manipulation. So any confirmation on lower time frame is for short term, right? Any confirmation on higher time frame is long term. So if you are like looking for a confirmation on lower time frame for a higher time frame trade. It doesn't make sense. Who does that? By the way, can't wait for your course release. Yeah, it will be released on 20th October. I'll be sharing a lot of the stuff. Okay, what do I mean by a lot of stuff? Everything that I know about macro of crypto, then the three models that I use: breaker, breaker, inversion, turtle soup, everything. Okay, like how a breaker forms, how many types of breaker there are, how you should be managing your stop loss when different types of breaker forms, how price does AMD, accumulation, manipulation, and distribution inside macros. Okay, like here our 920 to 930 macro was here, right? So there was accumulation, manipulation, and distribution phase here in a short term. So I don't talk about it when I'm doing live stream or talking publicly. I'll be talking about it there in my course. So what did I told you guys about this 5-minute fair value gap, right? What did I told you guys? That I would like to see price closing a candle body above this 5-minute fair value gap, then using this 5-minute fair value gap as an inversion to deliver buy side liquidity, to deliver more buy side liquidity, right? Price generated relative equal highs. Look at that. How do you know that price will keep pushing higher? That's how you know. When price continuously generates relative equal highs like this, that means what? Price wanna go towards buy side liquidity. Sometimes, not always, sometimes you will see that price is respecting retail logic. Price will generate relative equal highs, then it's going lower. It's never coming back to take it out. Okay, so when price does that, know that you are just unlucky. And not every concept, folks, works every time. Okay, not every fair value gap will work every time. Everything fails. So when it fails, your risk management is there to save you. But unfortunately, most of you don't follow that. You blow up account, then go from courses to courses. That's what happens, right? That's the usual thing we did. Every one of us did that. So I want to see price coming up, going above this swing high. What gives me confidence to see price going higher? I told you guys we have a fair value gap here, 5-minute fair value gap. Do you guys remember? I talked about it. 5-minute fair value gap. Price closed the candle body below. It worked as an inversion to send price lower. Price closed the candle's body above this failed fair value gap. It sent price higher. That's how an inversion works. Okay, there's another thing that I'm also watching. I mentioned it before, this relative equal high, right? So I have a higher target, then we have another short-term high here. That's the reason I want to watch price going higher. So how many trade setups are here? We have a BPR here. Didn't I mention about this BPR with Nasdaq? Right here we had a BPR here again, right? I told you guys that I want to see price going lower in this BPR and then pushing higher. Same thing happened on Dow Jones. What is a BPR? A balanced price range. When price has two fair value gaps next to each other, it's a BPR. That's a strong, I would say it's one of the strongest PD area from ICT. Okay, so see, I'm not using a lot of stuff, just basic knowledge that you can learn for free from YouTube, from our mentors YouTube channel, right? Fair value gap, BPR, order block, it's all there. You just don't have to confuse yourself with a lot of concept. I use three models: inversion, breaker, turtle soup. If I see it if I see it on chart inside my macro, I trade it without hesitation. So our 950 to 1010 macro delivery was really good, right? Look when the volatility came in. So when price was inside the macro, it delivered one-sided, right? That's the reason I trade solely on inside macros. I love macros because price delivers aggressively inside these time periods. Look at that. So I don't want to see price coming lower and closing a candle body below this inversion. Price generated more relative equal highs, right? But we have Powell speaking, so not trying to force anything, just want to see what price does. Okay, so I don't want to see price closing candles body below this inversion again. I want to see it keep pushing higher. It generated enough relative equal highs for me to not be bearish. In your course, live question answer session available, bro? Yes, until everyone has a clear view. I will keep continuing talking and answering your questions. So each live session will be like, I'm expecting it will be from 4 to 5 hours each live session, and there will be 3 days. So I believe, yeah, that will be a lot, but anyway, I can do it. There's a lot of things to talk about, okay? So it will need at least minimum 3 hours for me just to share the theories. So the first day will be for breaker, the second day will be for inversion, like how a inversion forms, how many types of inversion are there, A plus inversion setups, the inversion that you should be avoiding, like those things, inversions inside macros, inversion for crypto. Same goes for turtle soup. All types of turtle soup formation inside macros. Okay, I'm not gonna be talking anything about other than macros. I'm only gonna be talking what will form inside macro, how many types of setup will form inside macro, like turtle soup, how you should be managing your stop loss with different turtle soup formation. Turtle soup comes in a different forms, okay folks? It's not just like price will go lower and I'll buy below the swing lower, swing high. It doesn't work like that. There are things that I look in chart. If price has those things, then I'll take that turtle soup entry. If not, I'll wait for price to close the candles body below a breaker. If a breaker is not there, then I would like to see price closing a candles body below inversion. If nothing is there, I'll avoid trading. So I'll share all those things, what I look at, what I look for, relative equal highs, how liquidity works. So that's one of the most important lesson that I think is in my course, like relative equal highs and relative equal lows, when you should be expecting price respecting a relative equal high or relative equal lows, and when price will not respect that. These are the things that you need to understand, okay? Because you will see sometimes that price is generating relative equal highs or lows and it never coming back to clear it out, okay? It respecting retail logic. So price does that. It's not like price never respects retail logic. It does respect. So when it does respect those logic, you should be like avoiding trading, but you will have to know that, right? First, if you don't know what you should be avoiding, then price will hit your stop loss. So yeah, these are the things that I'll be sharing. It's a lot of stuff. People like share one model and charge hell of a lot of money. I'm sharing 3 models plus it's a live session, it's not a course, so you will have a chance to ask me questions when I show you examples from chart, right? So yeah, don't miss the opportunity. I shared how to enroll in my course in my Telegram channel. If you are not in my Telegram, then you will find it on my Twitter. If you are not in both, then go to the description section on my YouTube. You will see the links there. No USDT. I'm only expecting payment via Bitcoin and PayPal, okay folks? So don't ask me about USDT. I'm not doing that. And if you can transfer through USDT, you can also do it on Bitcoin, right? Anyway, let's focus on our chart. I told you guys that I don't want to see price closing candles body below this inversion, but it did that. So this inversion now turned into what? Resistance. Isn't it so cool, right? This failed fair value gap. So many of you don't watch a failed fair value gap, right? When price goes below your BC, you are like, okay, I lost that trade. No, you didn't. Extend that. Extend that failed fair value gap. The same failed fair value gap will keep providing price support and resistance. Yeah, the sessions about the course will be recorded, so if you are not there, I'll be doing it on morning Eastern Standard Time on 20th October. The first live stream inside my course will be at 20th October. I believe at 9:30 I'll start. So yeah, Eastern Standard Time 9:30. So if you are not there, don't worry, every live session will be recorded and shared in my private Telegram group. So we had order blocks here, prices respecting that. So let's see if price wanna close a candles body above this inversion. If not, let's wait. Okay, I'll be here with you all talking until 11. What is ES doing? Let's talk about ES a little bit. The fair value gap that I talked with you all on ES. What the hell? Yeah, so this is the fair value gap that I talked about. Look at that. Didn't price came up? Didn't I told you guys that I wanna see price coming up? I shared one direction. Okay, a lot of you ask me, like, I get confused with bias, like you get confused with bias. Bias is so hard for you to decide. Why? Look at that, how simply I decided my bias. There was relative equal highs. There was a macro 950 to 1010. Inside 950 to 1010, price came up, cleared out this buy side liquidity, hit this fair value gap, and now it's going lower. This small movement on hourly chart can make you hugely profitable on 1 minute chart. Okay, now I won't drop down to 1 minute chart, but you drop down to 1 minute chart and see how many setup formed here. Okay, inside this price action, when price came up, right, the setup should be here, somewhere here at 9 o'clock, this candle. Then price got support from here, pushed higher, right, cleared out the relative equal highs that it generated here, hit the fair value gap, and then going lower. Your TP should be here, somewhere here. So that's how it works, folks. It's not that hard to decide bias. What you guys do wrong, it's like that you wanna decide bias for the whole week. No, you should be watching what price is presenting to you in the present moment. You should be staying in the present moment, not predicting far future, but predicting, like, suppose what price will do next 1 hour, what price will do next 30 minutes, what price will do inside the next macro. I don't need to trade whole day. If I'm getting one setup and it's hitting my TP, I'm done for the day. And it's hitting, if it's giving me 3R, bro, that's a lot of money, right? So I will tell you to drop down to the 1 minute chart and see how many setup was there. What I see is a turtle soup. Then there was another BPR, right? I talked about it on NQ and Dow. Looks like the same price action repeated here on ES2. So price came down, hit this BPR, and then pushed higher. We had our relative equal highs here, right? So after price cleared out the relative equal highs, it moved lower. On 1 minute chart, what do you guys see? Do you guys see anything else now? Yes, another relative equal highs again. Look at that, how clean this level is. Is there a SMT? There's no SMT here. So let's see if price comes up or not. Okay, we have a SMT with Nasdaq here. Nasdaq may get a higher high, where on ES it's just like relative equal high. So yeah, let's see what happens. Why not London session? What about London session? Can do London session? Jesus, so hard for you to reply, lol. Leah, I wasn't looking at chat. Okay, I don't come here to look at chat. I come here to look at my chart and share what I'm looking. Anyway, sorry. What about London session? I don't trade on London session, so but what I will be sharing, it also works on London session. Can you take a look on Euro USD? Looks bearish. Oh my god, Leah, you just spammed on my chat. Sorry, but I don't want you here. You're blocked. Don't spam, guys, okay? If you have a question, just ask it once. Mikhail is saying, do you use 4 hour, hour 1, a minute 15 time frames to put your PD arrays and potentially enter? Okay, message restricted. It's okay, I think he deleted it. And potentially enter a trade. Yes, that's what I was talking about. A higher, my trading model, my A plus trading model is a breaker. Okay, so I look at higher time frame. Suppose there's a higher time frame PD or higher time frame fair value gap on 4 hour and price is near to it. What I will do is, like, when price comes inside it, inside that fair value gap, like that fair value gap can be on hourly chart, on 4 hour chart, on weekly chart. When price does that, I drop down to lower time frame. What time frame? 3 minute, 1 minute. That's the lowest that I go. I don't trade on second charts. So then I look for a breaker forming inside that higher time frame PD area. When, remember, time and price, right? I know I'm predicting what price will do, but I will have to wait for price to get inside a certain time period. So when will I look for that breaker forming inside macros? It's not that hard to understand. Would your strats work on gold? Probably not. I never traded on gold. Gold sucks, bro. Like, I don't trade on gold. I don't like gold, so yeah, I'm not interested in talking about gold. I believe it doesn't work, my concept on there. So yeah. So what do you see here? Price use this same inversion again to go lower. So how price changes, change of delivery, okay? How the change of delivery happens inside price. Do you guys know it? It's not only market structure shift, okay? When price closes a candle's body above or below a fair value gap, a order block, a breaker, that's when the market structure shift happens, okay? That's when the change in trend takes place. Just like here, price closed the candle's body above this fair value gap, above this inversion. So do I need a market structure shift now for me to confirm that price will push higher? No, price already did that, but by closing candle's body above this inversion, right? So what I would like to see, price not going lower below this inversion, rather using it as a support towards buy side liquidity. But nothing to force here. We have 11 o'clock Powell news, right? So Powell brings a lot of volatility. Price can just go lower, and at 10 o'clock you will see like price is just pushing higher and higher. So yeah, that's also possible. So just trade tape read. Glad to see you back on live. Hope all is well. Yes, everything is well, Reggie. Good to see you back too, bro. Does ES, Nasdaq, and US30 move the same when they're providing high probability setup? They move together. When not, when they're doing manipulation, they move opposite to each other. They're supposed to be moving like similar, not like exact to the tick, but similar. Okay, when they do that, that means what? They're generating high probability setup. When they're moving opposite to each other, that means what? They're manipulating. Do you ever consider SMT? Probably not. If I see it SMT, okay. If I don't see it, I don't look for SMT. That's the thing. So this order block, which is now a reclaimed order block, worked again. Let's see what Nasdaq doing. Nasdaq is just chopping inside this order block. It generated relative equal lows here, folks. Look at that. Relative equal lows down here. Then these low is relatively equal to these. Okay, someone was asking me about Euro USD, right? What about it? I'm already in a trade on Euro USD. So I'm targeting I've been holding it for a long time now, this trade. Targeting this low right here. So I believe Euro USD will go lower at 10 o'clock news, below these relative equal lows, right? And probably it will stop somewhere right here. So I put my TP here, a little bit lower than this swing. I'm expecting to see Euro USD pushing lower. If I was not live streaming, I would not do anything here or like even look at the chart. It's all manipulating, it's just consolidating. It's inside a range, folks. Look at that. What's the range? What's the dealing range here? From this high to this low, the price action is happening inside it. Now we are inside the silver bullet, right? Nothing interesting here to tape read. So this reclaimed order block got respected, and price closed the candle's body above this inversion again. I want to see this relative equal high getting taken out. These highs. Do you trade every day? I don't. I'm not trading today. I'm tape reading. What does tape reading mean, Rio? It means I'm gonna look for a setup, but I'll not execute. Why am I tape reading today? Because there's two high impact news that we have at 9 o'clock. Sorry, at 10 o'clock, then at 11 o'clock. Yes, Anik, ask your question. I'm here to answer. So we have another breaker here. Do you guys see it? Lower low, new lower low, last up close candle. I'll consider it as a breaker block. I want to see price pushing higher now. I want to see price going higher from here. So where's the breaker? Let me talk about this breaker a little bit more. Right here, this is not a breaker. It's a reclaimed order block. Don't confuse it with the breaker, okay? It's not a breaker. So I'll not talk about like why it's not a breaker. If you want to know that, you will have to join my 3-day workshop. So what's the new breaker here? Lower low, new lower low, up close candles, breaker, right? So when price was hitting this breaker again, I told you guys that I want to see it going higher. Do you guys see the logic now? That's how I scalp. Small little trades, but hugely profitable. I can put my stop loss below here, below this inversion, right? So 2 hours from here is just like easy. So price generated another relative equal high. That's the reason I avoid trading. Look at that, price generated relative equal highs here, right? So I would like to see price coming back up again at 10 o'clock, sorry, at 11 o'clock and going higher. This is the reason, folks. That's why I avoid trading at high impact news, before high impact news. Okay, the best time to trade is after high impact news, after 11 o'clock. I meant, do you have days you know you will avoid as a rule set, i.e. ICT on trade AM session after large range overnight? For me, it's more like if there's a high impact news at 9:50 or like suppose at 10 o'clock, I avoid that AM session. I mainly trade on 9:20 to 9:40 inside the time period. If price is not presenting a setup inside the time period, I don't trade. If there's a setup and there's no high impact news at 10 o'clock, then I trade. It's that. So yeah. In case of a bearish breaker block in 4-hour time frame, if price comes up in later days to test that and market is in downtrend, there should be a short entry again, right? Gold chart hour 4. Okay, let me see it for you. What you were saying is I'll still take a buy entry from that bullish fair value gap. Why? Because if you look closely, when price touches a bullish fair value gap, and if it's on higher time frame, it does a little bit of retracement toward buy side, right, before pushing lower. So when price does that little bit of retracement, that means what? It's going for certain liquidities. What liquidities? On lower time frame, it will generate relative equal high. So what I will do, as soon as price hits that hourly or 4-hour fair value gap, as you were talking, I'll drop down to MA chart and I'll look for a bullish breaker forming that will target those relative equal highs. So in the short retracement from the 4-hour chart, I'll get like 2 to 3 hour and I'll be done. But what you were saying, Anik, is also right. You can do that, but I feel that's how I trade. Okay, that's how I trade. I'll look at gold. Let's see what you were talking, if it's there or not. Gold. It's on 4-hour chart, right? Where's the fair value gap? You were talking about fair value gap from here. Let's see, where's price right now? Okay, so do you see a fair value gap here? Yes. So Anik, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly or not. So what I will do personally, this is a fair value gap, right? And here's another fair value gap which is unfilled. We have a low here, so as soon as price comes down and takes out this low, right? It's a 4-hour fair value gap. I'll drop down to 1 minute time frame and I'll look for relative equal highs, if there's any relative equal highs or not. Yes, look at that, relative equal highs here, a lot of relative equal highs here. So I do have something to target. It's not only about setup, Anik, okay? You have to understand that it's not about I want to see a breaker forming. If that breaker forms, I'll take a trade. No, it's not like that. I'll also have to find out a target. If my setup plus target is there, only then I'll execute. So the target is here. Where do I want to see price going, right? Wait, this I would like to see price going below this low, hitting this fair value gap. If price is still volatile, right, suppose price is aggressively moving towards sell side, I will not push it, I will not force a trade idea. Rather, I'll wait for what price does inside this fair value gap. If price is presenting me a breaker here, then I'll drop down to 1 minute chart. I'll look for a breaker, I'll look for an unfilled fair value gap, okay? There are a couple of targets that I will not talk about here, but I'll just give you a hint. If you want to know more about those targets, right, what are the A plus targets when a breaker forms, I'll give you one A plus target is that relative equal high. The second one is the unfilled fair value gap. There are more to it, okay? If you want to know more about it, join my 3-day bootcamp. You will find info about it on my Telegram. So that's what I will do, Anik, on 4-hour chart. I would like to see price going below this low, then I'll drop down to 1 minute chart, look for a breaker. If I have something to target, only then I'll take the trade. If price is still volatile here, I'll wait for price to reach this fair value gap. Once it does, I'll drop down to 1 minute chart, I'll look for a breaker forming inside macro, and then I'll look for something to target. If there's unfilled fair value gap, I'll put my TP there. If there's equal highs, I'll put my TP there. So that's how it works. I hope it's clear. So price is just chopping around here. It looks like seek and destroy. Like that's a good chop, right? So isn't it good to avoid trading in these time periods? Yes, but the people who are new, they don't have experience, they will keep pushing. They will be like, okay, I see a order block here, I'll buy. I see an inversion here, I'll sell. I see relative equal highs here, I'll buy again. It doesn't work like this, folks. You have to be patient. You have to let market do what it's doing. Once it done doing that, you can then look for setups, okay? And when will it be done doing this, like the chop? After 11 o'clock. We have high impact news, folks. Powell is speaking. What's happening on Nasdaq? I talked about gold. Hey, what macro time frame you mostly prefer, or just as part the price action will you take? I mostly prefer the 920 to 940 macro. If my setup is not there, then 950 to 1010. If my setup is not there, then the last macro that I use is 1120 to 1140. I consider it as a reversal macro. What do I mean by that? Suppose price is in a bullish trend from 930 and it's aggressively delivering towards buy side liquidity or sell side liquidity, and there's no change in trend. So when will I expect to see a market structure shift inside 1120 to 1140? I'll talk more about these macros like market reversal macro, trend continuation macro inside my 3-day bootcamp. So there's a lot, folks, to learn, okay? It's not only that 4 macros or 5 macros that ICT shared. There's a lot more market does inside time and price. That's it, folks. Other people that talk about time and price, but they don't show anything. They will show you random execution. They will tell you, okay, I see a breaker now, I'll take it, but it's just outside of the macro, outside of a time. Me, I talk about a time, I give you setup inside the time period. What what will form inside the time period. I talk about that. That's it. That's all I do. Time and price. Without that, yeah, nothing else. What is macro? A macro is a time period where price presents a repetitive setup, when price becomes volatile, when price gets out of a consolidation zone, when price aggressively delivers, and that's what a macro is. That's like a simple definition. So price generated more sell side liquidity here as a form of relative equal low. On Nasdaq, we have relative equal highs here. So how to trade when price generates relative equal highs, relative equal lows, both together? Anyone know it? If you know it, please type on the chat. When price generates both sides of the liquidity like this, relative equal highs, relative equal lows, how do you trade it? How to trade it? Does anyone know? Can you please give me some tips about bearish breaker block PD arrays? I don't understand the PD array idea too much. Join my 3-day bootcamp. That's where you can ask me questions like this. That takes a lot of time to make it understand, okay? For you, Anik, so nothing interesting. We are still inside this dealing range, and I'm still expecting to see price going higher. Before I do that, there's also relative equal lows right here. Yes, Reggie, we wait for one side to get taken, and once one side gets taken, when we target the another side. So suppose price is clearing out this relative equal low first, I will wait. Okay, so what I'll expect to see, I'll just put it into a visual perspective. Suppose price, I want to see price aggressively moving here, generating a fair value gap here, and then doing a little bit of top, okay, like this inside that in fair value gap. I want to see price forming a CB here, and then when price goes above the CB, I will use it as an inversion, and when price steps inside the CB again, I'll buy and target these relative equal highs. So that's how I do it. When price generates liquidity in both sides of the marketplace, I wait for one side to get taken out and then target another side. If you guys want to know more about it, I made a template and shared it on my Twitter. I'll show it to you all. So look at this. It's I shared it as a turtle soup model, A plus turtle soup model. So to me, that's the best model when it comes to turtle soup. Okay, so what do you guys see here? The same price action that we have here, right? The same price action I shared here in a template. When price has liquidity in both sides of the marketplace, you wait for price to take one side first, and once price does that, you enter in a trade and target the other side. Isn't it the same price action that's repeating here? Look at that. Price generated relative equal highs here, relative equal lows here inside the dealing range. So yeah, the same thing is repeating. If you want to get this template, you can find it on my Twitter. Go on my Twitter, and in the highlights section you will find a lot of models like this. If you are interested, just visit my Twitter. It's there for free. What is the cost of bootcamp is 80 USD, so $80 for a 3-day bootcamp. The template also creates BPR, right? No, the template is basically on how to trade when prices liquidity in both sides of the marketplace. Can we trade YM and ES on funded next? Yes, you can trade Dow and ES. So on funded next is US30 and ES is US500. The spread, oh my god, is so good. If you're trading on, like, if there's no high impact news and you are trading, it's the best. See it for yourself, okay? The spread is best on funded next. Me personally, I'm trading with one of their two of their 50k accounts, so yeah, I love it. So let's just wait. We are getting inside 10:50 to 11:10 macro. We have a 11 o'clock news, right? So let's see what price does. Didn't I told you guys that I would like to see a fair value gap forming here? See what price did here? Price formed a fair value gap. How did I know that? Experience. When you buy someone's course, you are not buying what they're teaching, you are buying their experience, okay? What you don't have. So I have the experience to know what price will do here because I saw it so many times. The same thing repeats, folks. The same thing repeats every single day. Price generates liquidity like this every single day. Okay, you just have to find out when it generates this setup often. So price also cleared out this sell side liquidity from here. Now let's wait. Price generated two fair value gaps, right? One here, one here. I will watch this one. So let's wait. What I believe is that at 11 o'clock we'll see price moving higher. But let's wait. I'm not sharing any signal, okay? So don't take my word and take a trade before the high impact news. You will got wrecked, okay? Suppose what I'm saying here is wrong. Price is never reaching there, so what? You're putting your stop loss, suppose somewhere here. It will go way below than you will think. So just avoid trading, just be patient. Learn how to do it first. Learn how to read price first. Once you know how to read price, folks, it's easy, right? How do I make these templates? From my experience, I know that price did this thing so many times in past that once price present this thing again, I have a higher probability that price will repeat the same thing. It doesn't mean that price will do the same thing exactly, but it means that price will put the odds in my favor, okay? That's what means high probability. So as I told you guys before, when price was here, I would like to see an inversion forming. Inversion formed here, right? So now I will wait and see how price behaves inside this inversion. I want to see price closing a candles body above, retesting this inversion, then going higher. What is a breakaway gap? I'll not give you much, but a breakaway gap gets generated when price is delivering aggressively. If you can identify the breakaway gap, you will know that price will continue delivering towards a sell side or buy side liquidity aggressively. Breakaway gap is an unfilled fair value gap. So when price generates a breakaway gap and left is unfilled, it means that price will continuously deliver aggressively towards where it's delivering. It will continue its trend. How will you know the price will continue its trend? That's how you know. It's one of the points that I will share inside my 3-day bootcamp. So yeah, I will not talk about it much here. Do we need to send a receipt if we made a payment by PayPal? Yes, in my email I shared it on my Telegram. Just go on my Telegram and scroll a little bit towards up, you will see it. I'm a beginner. Can you tell us what is bootcamp about and will it help me become profitable? I can't guarantee that. I'll just share my 3 trading models. If you like what I'm talking here, then you probably will like what I will talk there way more deeper. with way more templates. Like I will share every types of breaker I saw in my 3 years of trading experience. Okay, every types of inversion, everything, folks. So there will be like more than 3 to 4 hours of lecture. And it's not that if you are not a beginner you will not understand. I believe if you are still a beginner you will understand. So I would like to see price respecting this inversion, sorry, BPR, something like this I'm expecting. Okay, I'll put it into perspective, something like this. I talked about this before, but still, let's see. I'm not trying to force anything here. We have a 11 o'clock news, remember, guys? So don't take it as a signal, please don't. I may be wrong. And yeah, so we are just tape reading here. We are not trying to force a setup. So as I was saying, yeah, so I don't know if you don't know anything about ICT, don't buy it. But if you have a little bit knowledge about ICT, I'll go from the beginner to the advanced level. So yeah, if you have a little bit of knowledge about ICT, then I think you will find it helpful about the models that I will share with you all. So I'll let price do what it's doing, right? It's doing what we wanna see, right? When price was here, folks, did you guys heard me saying I wanna see a fair value gap forming here? Yes. How did I know that? Experience. So when you will pay for that bootcamp, you are not paying to learn something new. You are paying for my experience, what I saw in this chart for years. So I'll share the first day, what I will do the first day of my bootcamp. Okay, these are the things that I'll be sharing in the first day. I'll talk about macro. I'll talk about AMD cycle inside macro. I'll talk about liquidity. How many types of liquidity is there? Like A plus liquidity. There's also A plus liquidity, like A plus setup. Did you guys know that? Relative equal highs, relative equal lows, breaker and how it forms, stop loss management with breaker, when to avoid a breaker, all types of breaker formation, failed breaker, standard deviation for precision. What do I mean by standard deviation? Standard deviation helps a lot to decide the targets. I'll talk about these macros, 820 to 830, 920 to 940, how you should be expecting price behaving inside these macros. I'll not only be sharing a setup, okay, I'll not only be sharing a pattern and say you, okay, if you see it then buy it. No, I'll share you a whole thing, like if price does this, if price generates liquidity like this, only then you are allowed to look for a setup inside these macros. There's a lot of topics and this is only day one. Okay, I was thinking about making a course, then like I thought, why not do it 3 day and put everything inside? So it's like a whole course inside 3 day. So that's what I don't like. Okay, folks, like that's why I avoid trading before any high impact news. Look at that, price went up, came down, right, went up. If it was a day without high impact news, or suppose there's no high impact news at 11, price action would not behave like this. Price would not behave like this. It would not come down like this. It will just continuously deliver toward buy side liquidity and get support towards buy side liquidity from these up close candles, then these up close candles, right, which are working here as a breaker. Now price will go to equal highs. Yeah, that's what we are expecting to see, but don't push the button, rather tape read. Dixie moaning. I'm not even looking at dollar. After news hit, the market price will stay in consolidation or choppy. I'm expecting to see expansion after the news hits. Like I want to see distribution, that's what I mean. How the live session work? Do we get private Discord or link to join live session? I did made a payment. If you could explain a bit how it works, would really appreciate. Thank you. I would do a live session on Zoom, I believe. If not on Zoom, if there's a lot of people, then I'll not do it on Zoom. I'll share a private link. I'll do the stream on YouTube, and I'll share that link inside my private Telegram group. I'm not doing a Discord. The private group is on Telegram, and if you are not there when I'll be doing the live stream, I'll share a link for you to download the streams. Okay, so don't worry about that. Look at the choppiness here. I don't like it at all, but it's permissible, right? We have IMPEC news. We are expecting volatility at 11 o'clock, so price is just chopping here a little bit. So I'll buy here, okay? Like, not like actual buy, but suppose a tape reading buy, just right here, putting my stop loss below this BPR, targeting all the way up here like this. At this candle I told you guys that I would buy. Suppose it was a clean day, I'll push button here, just right here. Again, suppose I push my button here, I'll pyramid here. It's a clean signal for me to buy. I'll not talk about what price did for me to become so confident, but just know that price was retesting this BPR again. So I'll put my this thing. It's okay. I'll just talk about it. Okay, I want to talk about it. Do you guys see this BPR? So what happened? Price closed the candle's body above this BPR. At the next candle, it opened and it came lower. It retested this BPR again. So when price did that, okay, that's where I would have bought. But I'm only sharing a theory, okay? I'm only tape reading. It's not an actual trade that I'm taking or I'm pushing about. I'm not doing anything other than just watching price. So if you are pushing button by getting signal with me, I don't care if the stop loss gets hit, okay? Don't blame me. I'm telling you guys not to push button, not to become aggressive, okay? But be patient. We have an implied fair value gap here. Do you guys see it? I'll just hide it. Candle, wick crossing each other, so it's working as an implied fair value gap. But price is not respecting it. As long as price is not going below this BPR, I believe it will push higher. It just continuously generating liquidity, folks. Look at that buy side liquidity. Right, it's just continuously generating these liquidities. We have 5 minutes before the news hits. Let's see. Top expected before the high impact news. When is bootcamp really want to become successful? I never got a payout or past prop firm ever. Lol. Okay, wait. So I'm not promising that you will get a payout if you join my 3-day bootcamp. So if you are doing it because of this, I'll say not to do it. Okay, someone is talking about NQ. Do you guys see why I tell you not to trade right now other than tape reading? See, if you suppose you were targeting this, price just came so near to your TP, right? And now it's going lower. So at 10 o'clock news, what can happen is just price can just come down, cleared out the relative equal lows, hit your stop loss, and then move higher. Just avoid trading now. Just do tape reading. You random? Yes, I'm random. I'm calling price randomly. If it hits it, I'm lucky. The FX artist, I'll just share what made me profitable, the 3 models that made me profitable. But it's not only about models, it's about mindset, how you control your emotions, how better you are with a model. Okay, I'm good with breaker. I can control my emotion with breaker. I can't do that with an order block. I can't do that with a normal fair value gap. So that's why I only trade with these 3 models. If I see it in chart, I only look for these 3 setup in chart. Other than that, nothing else. look at it. Yes, none of these charts has any clean price action. It's just chopping, consolidating, right? So mostly I will consider it as an accumulation phase. Price will do manipulation at 10 o'clock, sorry, at 11 o'clock, and then after the distribution. So just wait before pushing any button. Do we get templates in PDF? No, you don't. What I'll be sharing is all will be like in live stream. So I'll be sharing templates in my live stream. You can take screenshot from there. I'll not share any specific templates like I do on Twitter. Why? Because anyone can post these on other social medias, right? By not giving me credit. So I'll just do it in my live stream, putting it into my theory, like presenting it as a theory with examples, but not sharing any templates and PDFs. NQ is preparing for trade when Paul will speak, manipulate, then trade. Yes. AMD, guys, remember accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Accumulation is happening here. Price is yet to do manipulation, then the distribution. Yes, looks like it wanna deliver to our sell side liquidity. It has a breaker plus new week opening gap, then fair value gap. So 3 PD arrays that is supporting price to our sell side liquidity. So let's see, folks. Let's see what happens. Piotr, that's not weird. That's the learning phase of yours, okay? You are not supposed to be getting profitable now. You are learning now. When you fail, okay, when your trade becomes loss, journal it, okay? Keep it. I know it's so hard to look at losses, but that's where you learn most. Trust me. And when try to look at your loss and see like what you were thinking before pushing the button. What you could have did that could have made this trade profitable. Journal your losses, not only wins, okay, Piotr? And now it's your learning phase. You should not be expecting to getting profitable right now. Do it what you are doing continuously for 6 months, and then come back and say to me that you are pushing the button and that trade is turning losses. Your losses will get less if you continuously do practice on your demo. Okay, Piotr, I hope you understand. You are now learning. It's not like you go to college and you study one day and the next day you just sit for the test. No, you prepare for the exam for 3-4 months. That's the same thing you are doing here. Prepare for it. Then when you feel like you are getting ready, then do it on your live funds. Until then, keep pushing it on demo, okay? And use your demo account like you will use your live account. So it's 11. This is looking so good. Look at that. This is a trend line freaking liquidity, guys. Look at that. We have a breaker here. Let me outline it as soon as possible. Breaker here, okay? So let's see if price provides us any opportunity from here. I believe we have a SMT here. Let me check with Nasdaq. Oh no, we don't. So we don't have any SMT here. Otherwise, I think I would have bought here. But let's see. I'll taper it. In my opinion, there will be no trade throughout the AM session because of Fed Chair Powell speaks. Yup. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Yes. Yes, this golden boy. You should be thinking long term. Not what I did today, not what I did for a week, but what I will do after 2 years. Where I will be after 2 years. Keep pushing, guys. It's I was there, okay? I'll say it, I'll be honest with you, Piotr, I was feeling just like you. But what I did different is that I continued my practice. I continued listening to my mentor when he was saying, you have to keep pushing yourself. You have to give more time to it. It will hurt you, okay? It's not a very good lover, these candles. It will hurt a lot, but with time, it will love you. Okay, so just give it enough time until it loves you. Just be patient. Daniel, price will stay in consolidation and choppy characteristics. Let's see. We have a fair value gap here inside this breaker. Why is it a breaker? There's no stop hunt here. But do you guys see the stop hunt? A swing low. Yes, the swing low is here. That's what makes these up close candles a breaker. But plus we have this phase here, like prices inside this dealing range from this swing high to this swing low, and it's just consolidating inside here, right? This will be the last trade that I'll be tape reading. After that, I'm closing today's session. Who is your mentor? Is it a question? Did you read the title of my live stream? Live tape reading with ICT concept. It is so hard to understand who is my mentor. So market structure shift, if you look at it that way, there's a fair value gap here. So what I will do is I'll wait for price to hit here, and I'll put my stop loss like below here. If price is coming down here, we will take a imaginary trade. Right? Did you guys see like how price generated liquidity before the high impact news, and after the high impact news, price is just clearing it out? There was no chance of entry from this breaker, right? Price was aggressively moving towards buy side. Only if you could have entered here only if you saw it like me earlier, right? When price was in this candle, I outlined this breaker. So suppose when price was doing close the candles body above, I would have entered here and then putting my stop loss below these last down close candles. Do you enter via market execution or limit orders? On stock, never limit order, because you see price does a lot of manipulation, right? In stocks, so I don't think I ever did any limit order on stocks, but in crypto I do that. So mostly I'm executing in live price action in stocks. So something that I'm watching here again, price is hitting this fair value gap. Let's see what happens. Pablo, how long will be every class? 3 to 4 hours. That's the minimum that I'm thinking. If everyone is asking me questions, then I believe it will be 6 to 7 hours. I'll give everyone a chance to ask me question. So yeah, I don't know how long it will be. Minimum that I'm thinking, if I don't take, I will take the questions and answer session. I'll take questions from you also. I believe the minimum it will be 4 hours. The theory itself will take more than 2-3 hours, so yeah. So price generated relative equal lows right here above this fair value gap. But I'll zoom in a little bit more. Do you guys see that this relative equal lows? So breaker CB. Now I would like to see this happening in price. Something like this. Price pushing higher like this. Are we inside a macro? Yes, 1050 to 1110. There's another macro that I use is at 1120 to 1140. I'll just give you guys hint. I use that macro as a market reversal macro. 1120 to 1140. So we are getting near to it. If price is not hitting it inside 1110, then I'll wait for price to get inside 1120, and if price is still inside here at 1120, I'll buy here, targeting these relative equal highs. But seems like price is not giving me that chance, right? It's aggressively moving towards buy side. It's okay. I didn't came here with a mindset to trade today. When you take Q during the presentation or at the end of the session, at the end of every model that I will introduce with you all. Suppose I'm introducing a macro, right? I'm talking about a macro. When I'm done talking about it, I'll take the questions. So as I told you guys, I would have bought from here with a stop loss below this fair value gap. So how will it be? Right, relative equal highs again. So I'll take a partial, suppose here, and TP here. Its price is still inside our macro. 1050 to 1110. If there is a wick like that, price does not need to go below that wick tail, but below 50% of the tail is equal to stop hunt. Yes, but we had actual stop hunt here. Look at that stop hunt. Price just used the consequent encroachment of this candle to push higher. So consequent encroachment, when price generates a big wick, the consequent encroachment works as a bullish PD array. Okay, just like a fair value gap, just like a BC. Okay, a lot of you guys are getting admitted. I'll check once I'm done with the live stream. Okay, I'll reply to every one of you, and I'll put you guys inside my private Telegram once I'm done with the live stream. I'm not looking at my emails now. This is our old inversion, folks. Look at that. Price is still respecting this 5-minute inversion. Sorry, 5-minute failed fair value gap, right? Do you guys remember, or you guys forgot? Look at that. It's the only fair value gap in this price action, right? So that's also a gem. When price has no fair value gap inside a dealing range, suppose a single fair value gap, use that fair value gap as a support and resistance. And how many times you saw today price respecting it? Look at that. It's still respecting it, right? It respected it here, 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 and it's still respecting it now. Let's look at NQ. So NQ here cleared out these relative equal highs. Now, as soon as NQ cleared this relative equal high, I would have sold here and target this relative equal low. as our model says, right? What model? The template that I showed you all on Twitter. Okay, let me show it to you all again. I think some of you missed it. Right here, look at that. So here I presented a buy model. As soon as price cleared out the opposite liquidity, right, it has relative equal highs. As soon as price cleared out relative equal lows, I targeted relative equal highs. So go on my Twitter account, look for this post. I also shared the trade execution with you all. Like, look at that trade. I'll just play it for some time. The same thing is repeating on NQ now. The same thing. So look at that. Price was continuously generating relative equal high, relative equal low right here, right? Look at that, how clean this level is. Then we have relative equal high here. So what I was doing, I was waiting for price to clear one side. See, as soon as price cleared out the relative equal lows, I did what? I bought. It's not a demo trade. I was trading on my live funds on trade of 8. Look at that, and what I was targeting, these relative equal highs. Look at the delivery now, folks. Yes, price did a little bit of choppiness. Yes, it manipulated. It wasn't aggressive delivery, but it reached there. Watch. Do you guys see that? Where did I put my stop loss? Below the swing low, right? So if I do the same thing on NQ, right, the stop loss will be above here and the target will be right here. But am I trading today? No, it's not a day for me to push. It's Monday, plus there are 2 high impact newses that we just had, right? And price is just chopping basically inside dealing ranges. Well, if we pay today, we get access to your private Telegram today itself. Any resources in there, so we can start learning to prepare ourselves for bootcamp. Yes, you will be added. You will get inside my private Telegram today, and I shared the crypto macros there. Okay, that's something that no one talks about. Crypto macros. Wow, that means what? There are setups in crypto that repeats inside certain times. Really? Yes. So I shared those times there. I didn't talk much about it. I will be talking a lot about this inside my bootcamp. But what you can do is that you can forward test, do back test inside those time periods. Okay, and I shared a lot of breaker trades plus recordings of breaker trade management, and I'll continue sharing a lot more until the 20th October comes. I'll share more templates, okay, like what I'll be talking in 20th October. Those templates I'll share in my private Telegram. Equal lows are intact. Yeah, let's wait. HYDRA, I also start full tape read on Nasdaq AM PM session without any editing on whole session other than speeding up. Yeah, that's good. That's Daniel. That's good. Keep it up, bro. Where do we target? I shared the trade here on Dow. Look at that. I told you guys that if I would have bought here, that's a very clean setup. I outlined the breaker before it got activated at this candle. When price generated this fair value gap, I told you guys that if price is coming down here, that's a buy signal, right? Why is a buy signal? We have targets, relative equal highs. So far, if you guys like my commentary, I expect to see a thumbs up from you all. Like, who does that, folks? Like, Mostly people who do live stream in ICT community, they're just sharing things in hindsight. Who is sitting with you here and reading price with you for free and sharing setups, right? So if you appreciate that, I expect to see a thumbs up from you. That will inspire me to keep doing this live stream and tape reading sessions like this. So price closed again this body again above this inversion. Now I would like to see price getting support from it, not going below in the basis of closing a candle's body, rather pushing higher now. Okay, I want to see that. We have order blocks right here. So suppose I took this trade, I'll put my stop loss in break even. That means what? If price is coming down right here, right, it will just hit my stop loss and I'll have no loss, right? It already moved a lot. If I was trading this setup, I would have taken a partial right here. So I'll buy again, pyramid in my entries again from here, and target this swing high, then this swing high again. As an OG follower, I will always be attending the bootcamp. His info is very valuable. Thank you, Reggie. You are amazing, sir. Thank you. So I'll be closing my live stream for today. I have a lot of work to do. So that's it for today, folks. I shared the setup here after the news. So tape read it. It's not something for you to execute, okay? But to tape read, gain your experience. These experience later in future will turn into money, okay? So I'll be closing it here. And Nasdaq, yeah, see, my experience is serving me a lot. Like, I didn't push any button here, so yeah, it saved me. Tomorrow I'll do live stream again. Tomorrow is Tuesday. We have news at 10 o'clock, so I'll start live stream at 9:20 tomorrow. I will see you guys there. Till then, take care, guys. Peace. Don't push the button today, okay? Just stay free.